Hi, this is David. Today is episode number 100 of GCast, so I wanted to do something just a little bit different. I'm going to show you how I create this show. It's called GCast because it's a screencast, and of course G stands for Geard, which is my last name. And first thing you'll need is a computer, and you'll need some hardware. You'll need a microphone. And I use this headset microphone here. It's from Microsoft, and just a boom mic attached to a headset. But any medium range microphone will do. If you want to spend $50, I think that'll be good enough. I wouldn't recommend using just the built-in microphone on your laptop. You could go a little bit higher than that to get a much better quality, but you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on it. The other thing you'll need is some software. Software to capture the screen recording. And what I mean by that is capture all of the mouse clicks and movements and typing and save that to a video file. And the tool that I use for that is from TechSmith. If you go to techsmith.com, you can download it. And there's a product there called Camtasia Studio, and it's a couple $100 to buy this product. There is a free trial, but it's only good for, I think, 30 days, so it's not great if you want to have an actual show, but I recommend trying it out before you buy it and invest that money. I've been using this for years. It's a terrific piece of software. So I've downloaded that, installed it, and I actually have it running right here, and I can go in and say, New Project, and typically I'll save it here, and I'll call this one Screencast Demo right here. And what will happen is that when I click this record button, then this dialog comes up here, and I'll make sure that my audio is on. You can put your camera on if you want to have my face embedded in it. I don't like to do that for this show. For the microphone, I like to turn the microphone up a little bit, make sure that I'm hitting the right one, the Microsoft Live Chat microphone, not the one up here on my webcam. And then I click record, and it'll count me down. 3, 2, 1, and now it's recording, and I can go and do something like navigate to Azure, and create a resource, and whatever I happen to want to do. Maybe I want to grab under databases, I want to create a SQL database in Azure or whatever. I did a show on that one time, and I'll walk through this, and all this is being recorded, both my mouse clicks and my screencasts, or my typing here, DG test screencast, whatever, and so on. And also the output from the screen here, so you'll notice that I click on that and this thing comes up. If I want to stop recording, I press F10 on my keyboard, and that stops, and it brings me back to Camtasia. And you notice right down here there's one clip right here, and then down here in the timeline I have, it looks like it was about 52 seconds long, a clip right here, and I could play this. And now it's recording, and I can go and do something like navigate to Azure. And you'll see that it's all the things that I did, all the navigation, anything that happened on the screen, including the audio, was captured right here. So I'll stop that. Sometimes I could do the whole show in just one recording, but a lot of times I have to do multiple sections of it. And there's various reasons for that. For example, maybe one step takes 5 minutes to complete. I might click Create Resource, and then we wait 5 minutes. Well, I don't want to wait 5 minutes, so I'll stop the recording and I'll start it up again. And I can do that right here within the same project. Click that, 3, 2, or click record, and does a 3, 2, 1, and start recording again, and then come in here and whatever it happens to be, and then press F10 again to stop recording, and you'll notice that a second clip appears up here in the media bin, but it doesn't automatically get added here. Camtasia, for some reason, doesn't automatically stick it down here. So what I want to do, oops, Control Z, is I'll grab this right here, and I'll drag it down into the timeline like this. And depending upon whether it was just a start and a stop because I wanted to get my bearings again, or if it was a time lapse, I may just leave it like that. But sometimes if I want to indicate the passage of time, I may add a transition. And over here's where I add transitions. And this transition would be something like, you can sort of see that preview right here. And I'll take this page roll is a pretty good one. Indicates the passage of time. Just drag that down in between the two clips. And what will happen is that when I go from one clip to the next, right there, and then verbally I can tell people 5 minutes went by, we jumped ahead in time, and let them know of that. Now when I've got all that done, I'll save it, and then I'll click the share button right here, and I'll share it to a local file. And what I want to do, you see some options here. There were some preset options here, but what I did is I have some custom options, and because I'd done it before, it remembers the answers I had last time. I want to produce a WMV file, Windows Media Video, and make it the best quality and file size. That's fine. This resolution, 19 by 1080, works pretty well. I don't want any kind of a watermark on here. Nothing special on here. Next. Give it a name. The name will default to whatever the project name is. I've got a folder called GCast/screencasts, and click Finish. And it'll go through and it'll render this thing as a WMV file. Essentially, it's taking that. Right now, I've got about a minute and a half. Typically, these shows are anywhere from about 7 minutes to as long as 25 minutes. I don't think I very seldom go above 30 minutes, but I try to keep them pretty short. So this rendering doesn't take very long. If I have a longer topic, usually I'll split that up into 2 videos because I want these to be consumable, something that you could just, if you just want to know a quick take on something, then you can. If it's a longer thing, maybe I'll break it up into 4 or 5 sometimes. All right, so we're at 65% now. I'll just wait for this to finish. And then when I'm done with this, I will have a WMV file. And in fact, I'll show you exactly where it is. I think I said it was in C/GCast/Screencast. This folder right here will be a WMV file. Click Finish. In fact, I could actually open production folder that way. And sort by last, it's this one right here, screencastdemo.wmv. I can open that up and you'll see there's my recording right here as one single WMV file. All right, now I'm going to switch over and actually use Camtasia to show you the next tool I'm going to use. I could have used that now, but there's, as far as I know, no way to use Camtasia to record me using Camtasia, and so that's why I went with a second camera. I'll be right back. I am back, and you may have noticed that transition to indicate that some time passed, but I am going to show you now the next step that I do is I have this video that is the screencast, the captured screen, and now what I want to do is I want to add something at the beginning and something at the end, an opening scene and some credits, because if you may have noticed that when I do this at the very beginning of each episode, I have this thing right here going on. It's got some music playing and it tells a little bit of animation and the episode number of the pilot, or the title rather, and I also have, way at the very end of it, I also have something that shows me the title, the date recorded, some copyright information on the music, copyright on this video, etc. All right. And I want to add that. Now, I could do that in Camtasia, but I use another tool. If I go to Adobe.com, there is a tool called Premiere Elements. It's less than $100. It's kind of a consumer version of the professional Adobe Premiere software that comes with Creative Cloud. And I use that, and that's this right here. And the way that I usually do this is I'll open up the most recent episode. Let's see. Which will be in here. So here's episode 99. And this is typically what I'll do is, because a lot of it is the same from episode to episode, what I'll do here is I'll say File, Save As, and I'll save it as GCast 100-screencast, something that's a good title for this. And then I'll go into the project assets, I'll delete the stuff from last time, And when I delete that, I'll press the delete key and say yes. You'll notice that it all disappears from the timeline right here. And what's left is the intro and the outro. And the intro, if you look really closely, let me zoom in a bit, you'll see that this part is going to stay the same. It's just that little animation at the beginning. The music will stay the same. The episode number is going to change. So let me double click that and change that from 99 to 100. And then, well, this is actually a demo one, so I won't call it 100. I'll pretend that it's episode -1. That sounds good. And then the title, I'll just call it demo for this one, but usually it'll be something descriptive. And then I'll go back to the end, back here, and I'll change that title again. I want it to, right as the thing is ending, I'll have to remind what it is. Put the date on here. Today is January the 18th, 2021. And right there. This will stay the same. This will stay. So you see, I only changed a couple of things, which is why the save as works really well. And then I want to add that screencast that I just did. So I want to go back to C/GCast/screencast, the place where I saved this. And here's that WMV file that I created from Camtasia. I'll open that up. Sometimes it takes a minute to render this, so I might have to wait for that. But this is such a short one, it didn't really matter. And if I expand this all out, I want to drag this into here, and usually it'll be a lot longer than this, but I'll leave it like that. Looks like the last one was about 10 minutes long. And then I'll just move this over to the right length here. And then finally, a bit of editing that I'll do is I'll just listen to it, and I'll make sure the volume is correct. And that seems a little quiet. Probably didn't have my microphone set up, so I may have to go into here to clip audio gain and bump that up by about 5 or 10 or whatever it's going to be. I'll just test it and play with it and play it again and so on. So that was a little bit of a demo one here. Usually I'll start with, hi, this is David, and today we're talking about whatever, and then I usually end with, this is David, thanks you for asking. This one I just sort of ended it. Now just make sure it looks good. So I play the whole thing, make sure it looks good, invest another 10 or 15 minutes into that. And once I'm done with that, save it, and then export and share right here. And I have a folder for my output here. It's on my D drive. It's called GCast Final Output right there. And it will be the name of the project here, like that. And now I'm going to have that screencast with an intro and an outro. So I've got the music, I've got the titles, I've got the animation, I've got some credits. All that stuff will be in here. It says it's going to take about 5 minutes to go. So I'll pause the recording and come back to it. Now we're done. It's a few minutes later, and this dialog popped up telling us that save was complete, successfully saved. And I can open that folder where I saved it, and there it is right there. And it has first this animation and the title of the show, the episode number, the title of this episode, and then the actual screencast itself at the beginning, and something similar at the very end. So let me finish that right here. Click on Done, File, save one more time just to be sure. I can close Adobe Premiere Elements. I'm all done with that. The final thing that I want to do is I want to upload it to YouTube. And so I've got this aka ms/gcast takes me right to my channel. However, you'll notice that I'm not signed in with my GCast account. I actually have 3 different shows, and they each have their own account. The GCast, this is my other show called Technology and Friends. You can watch that at technologyandfriends.com. But what I want to do is to switch accounts to GCast right here. And the reason I want to do that is because when I upload, I want to make sure it uploads to this account right here. So I'll say upload video. And it takes me then to this page here. And I can either click select files and navigate to that folder, or because I have it already open, this is probably a little easier, I can just grab this thing and just drag and drop it right onto there. There's some JavaScript which will recognize that. And then I'll put a title, and the title I always use is the title followed by GCast episode number in brackets, and a description here, whatever it makes sense for that. I'll come down a little lower, and I say, no, it's not made for kids. If I say it's for kids, then I have other questions I have to ask about. Is it appropriate for kids? This is not specific for kids, so I don't worry about it. And for tags, I want to put some things in here that'll make it easy to search for. Screencasting, demo, whatever, tech. In here, I put the recording date. I think that's really relevant because sometimes these things become obsolete. I'm doing a screencast of a piece of software where that software might change over time, and I wanted them to have an idea of, oh, this is from 2021. It's still relevant. Sometimes I'll record the same demo a couple of years later because the software has changed so much. Down here, this is all, I just leave this to default. Next, next. Generally, I'll make this public. For this particular one, I will make it unlisted. It's still available to anyone, but it won't appear in any. Or no, actually, I'll put it as private. That sounds good. And then it won't appear in this. If somebody subscribed to this channel, they won't pop up and be confused by that. I can also say schedule. Sometimes I do that. If I do 2 or 3 on the same day, maybe I'll publish them a week apart or a few days apart. But what I'll do is I'll do that. I'll make it private for this particular one, and that's it. I'll click on save, and then it'll kick off this process. This process is really 2 steps. The first step is it has to upload the video, and it's going pretty fast here, 95%. And then it starts, and then it processes it. It has to encode it in the way that YouTube likes it. YouTube has a couple of things. It actually encodes it in multiple formats, multiple resolutions. And that way it can, different clients, different internet speeds can handle it. And I can actually close this. It's 99% processing. Usually it takes longer than this because usually the videos are a lot longer, but this time not such a big deal. And so it's up here now, and the last thing I want to do is click on this to edit it. It's not quite done processing yet. What'll happen is one of the things it'll do is it'll create 3 different thumbnails, and the thumbnails are just randomly or pseudo-randomly selected from screenshots within the video. And I used to use these, and I decided that they weren't really always indicative of what the thing was about. So what I decided a few months ago is I'm going to use a standard format as the title of my video. Here we go. So this is the thumbnails are starting to get created. You can see there's one is just from that animation at the beginning, one is from the titles at the end, and the third one is just happens to be a blank screen, which isn't really helpful at all. Just randomly selected a frame in the middle of that. So what I do is I go to PowerPoint, and I have GCast titles, and what I do is something like this. I've got these PowerPoint decks, and I've already created this one here, but what I do is I just take one of these and duplicate the slide, and then I'll change the episode number to -1, and then this to whatever, demo, whatever I want to call the title of it, and then I always change this right here, this picture right here. It's hard to grab that because it's in the back. A little trick that I have is that if you go to Home, Arrange, Selection pane, you can then find that picture and select it this way, which is kind of nice. I delete that, and then I insert a new picture. It's always a different picture, but it's always of me. So insert picture from this device, and I actually have a folder of pictures of my face, so I can just grab whatever, that picture right there, and size it. Put it the right size, and usually I want to send to back in case it's going to overlap this stuff. And then there's actually for this one right here, I can do File, Save As, and PowerPoint has this nice feature where you can save it as an image. So if I save this as a ping and say GCast -1, I usually give it that and .ping, and click save, it'll actually ask me, do I want to save all the slides or just this one? And so I'll save just this one. And now what I can do is, back here, I can upload from pictures, David, or I'm sorry, it was from C/GCast/titles is where I saved that right here. There's that one right there, and just add that right here and make that the preview for this right here. And I think that looks a little bit better. I'm not sure if that's ideal, but that's the way that I do it. You can choose to do it however you want. Maybe go create your own screenshot and put that in there. Save it as a screenshot using the snipping tool. That's another way you could do this as well. But this one works for me. And once I do that, then it's available and it'll show up. This one happened to be private, but so nobody else can see it. But I can see it because it gives me the video link here. I'll copy that and paste it in. And now people will see something like this. Right there, and there's my new episode of GCast, episode -1. It's a demo, and so on. So here, if you wanted to create your own screencast, I've given you the tools to do it. I've shown you how it's done. This is David. Thank you for watching.